I knew how much my team needed me. Like I said last game, I mean, it was very tough for me. I didn't sleep. And the competitor in me wanted to win that game so bad. And I replayed that play so many times. But I'm like, why would I let one moment dictate everything else that I have going on that is positive? So just being able to show up again for my team, it would have been negative for me not to come out tonight and just bounce back. And I knew they expected it from me. So just being able to do it, obviously, against Asia, trying to deflect as many passes as I can. I mean, she's going to get her shots up, of course. But just knowing my spots and how great I am defensively.
After the game-winning shot, Angel Reese craved sympathy, but Caitlin Clark's response made the situation far more significant. Reese had the opportunity to be the hero in a split second as he stood at the rim. Next, Clark was seen grinning as the chance vanished. The internet got to work right away, bringing their long-standing feud back into the public eye. The intriguing part of this story, though, is Reese's response afterwards. She claimed that the missed shot lingered with her all night.
Hey man, Angel Reese back in action. And the Atlanta Dream did beat the Las Vegas Aces. Thank you. You just helped Caitlin Clark move up in the standings. Angel Reese has 6 more layups blocked. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. You look, congratulations. You had another double McDouble. You actually had 20 points this time. I don't know how they let you do that. Angel Reese had 6 more layups.
Sports have a tendency of delivering a certain kind of irony when you least expect it, and this one came with perfect comedic timing. A little Angel Reese used to follow Caitlin Clark around the court on a Louisiana college court years ago, grinning and waving her hand in front of her own face as if to convey that the moment was all hers.
Really is just comedy at this point. Even in games that aren't absolutely pathetic, we still are able to get a laugh out of them. After one of the most disastrous performances we have ever seen in the WNBA, one of the worst showings in WNBA history, missing wide open layups, missing layup game winners, Angel Reese returned to the court last night against Las Vegas Aces. A game in which Becky Hammon went nuts.
It was lighthearted, provocative, and went on to become one of the iconic pictures of the rivalry that would eventually propel both women into the professional ranks of basketball. The cameras captured something strikingly similar this past week, although Clark was the one grinning this time.
Clark is on a different level. And I know we say that every single video because she's been on an insane stretch. She's been averaging 26 and 9 over the past 11 games. But yo, the way she's added on this mid-range shot to her game, it's like in the blink of an eye, she became a top 3 mid-range shooter in the whole league. Also, her dribble moves are so tight right now. She's flowing and going and dishing the ball to her teammates like no other. I mean, she just has looked exceptional. And Kelsey Mitchell struggled today, but she still had her 20 and a big shot towards the end of this game that we'll look at.
After a missed layup denied her team a chance to win, Reese was the one left to defend herself to reporters, telling anybody who would listen that she seldom slept. The court has a memory of its own, which is amusing.
Athletes know it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that energy is contagious because if you look at Angel Reese, she already has 7 and 9. She's already getting close to a double-double, but then also, if you think about, on the other side here, you're seeing the Indiana Fever, they're just being a little bit methodical as well because I like these good to great plays. You see Caitlin orchestrating. It's like both sides are leaning into their strengths on this one.
Let's go back to Angel really quickly, though, because she was part of the catalyst that you saw to be able to change things around. And she said to Holly, I just feel like I needed to take a deep breath and maybe stop.
You have to go back to the weekend before that missed shot in order to comprehend how we ended up here, as ESPN did not unintentionally fall into this plot. Reese is a truly exceptional rebounder. In actuality, her motor never stops. Nobody who is serious about the sport disputes that portion of her resume, and the figures on the boards are accurate. However, a feature that is solely focused on one ability usually makes you wonder in the back of your mind. It's a straightforward question. What about everything else? The response came from Sunday, and it did not come softly. Indiana headed to Atlanta for a game that had been promoted all weekend as Reese's coronation, with Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo's broadcast booth treating her as the league's centerpiece. The coronation began crafting its own punchline when the ball really lifted into the air. Reese was by herself on a fast break in the first quarter, with nothing but open floor and an undefended rim in front of her. This is the type of layup that elite players make with their eyes closed.
But this weekend has to be one of the worst weekends ever for Angel Reese, bro. I mean, she became a meme last game. She became a super duper meme this game. And all I got to tell you is, Caitlin Clark truly gets the last laugh, man. Angel Reese missed the damn layup. Now, for all of the Angel Reese fans, I just want y'all to calm down, because this is nothing new. She's been...
Even yet, she missed it so severely that it became an instant highlight for all the wrong reasons. The kind of video that is replayed because it is nearly incredible rather than because it is remarkable. Anyone watching would have fully believed you if you had said that this would be the worst miss of the afternoon. They wouldn't have been correct. Depending on whatever statistic you looked at, the shooting line by halftime showed 3 makes on 10 attempts, 7 points, and 9 rebounds. A stat sheet that told 2 very different stories. Reese admitted in her own words that she felt like she was playing like Dada in response to sideline reporter Holly Rowe's question on what changes needed to be made. This response quickly became more well-known than the interview itself. It requires a certain level of self-awareness to characterize your own performance so harshly. And oddly, it was one of the broadcast's most honest moments. The issue was that very few others in the studio appeared to be prepared to equal that candor. Rather, Reese was praised by the halftime crew of Monica McNutt, Chiny Aguamike, and Andrea Carter as the game's emotional and competitive engine. They highlighted her energy, her mentoring of a rookie teammate, and her purported catalytic effect on Atlanta's defense, despite the fact that the graphic directly beneath them displayed a shooting percentage that conveyed an entirely different message. It was more like seeing 3 individuals describe a car accident as a lovely detour than it was like basketball analysis.
WNBA drama. I'm about to play the video, but Caitlin Clark is facing criticism now because she laughed at Angel and her team because they kept missing their layups to tie up the game. I would laugh too. Look at that. Airballed the 3. Missed the layup. Missed it again. Missed it again. Come on, bro. Who not finna giggle at that? Any normal NBA player would clown the other team if they had 4 chances to win the game and didn't win. One thing about Angel Reese, though, she's finna get them rebounds because Kashi even got her predicted to win leader of...
In one version of this, 3 presenters are just riding an emotional wave without paying any attention to the box score, so you may write it off as a coincidence. However, given the circumstances, it is hard to accept that argument because this wasn't an impulsive response. It was the continuation of a story that had been meticulously crafted over the course of the preceding 24 hours. Before the first tip, the network had already determined that Angel Reese would win this weekend. Regardless of what actually happened on the court, the on-air talent appeared committed to protecting the story once that decision was made. You begin to question whose interests are genuinely being served when a player tells you straight out that she's having trouble, and the folks who are hired to evaluate the game label her a catalyst in response. However, the most incriminating sequence did not occur throughout the first half. When Kelsey Mitchell missed a potentially game-winning 3-pointer at the end of regulation, with the score knotted and the clock running out, the ball flew straight towards the hoop and landed nearly precisely in Reese's hands. This was not an off-balance, disputed attempt against a wall of defenders. This putback, which determines games and creates legends, had a clean look and was made from point-blank range. She also missed that one.
She was not missing because of the Indiana Fever defense. Fam, she was blocked 3 times. She was blocked 3 times in the first half. What are you talking about? Hey, man, this is ridiculous work. Look, you get to see the double standard, right? If Caitlin Clark was 3 for 10 from the field, and mind you, shooting mid-ranges, right? Shooting mid-ranges, shooting threes, they would have had nothing good to say about Caitlin. They would have had nothing good to say about her, man. Like, stop with this.
It was a shot that needed to go in but didn't. It wasn't a hurried shot or a challenging angle. In overtime, Indiana emphatically won by 4 points in a game that had been excruciatingly close until the very end. Atlanta had one more chance to rescue the moment but was unable to convert, sending the game into overtime. With a shooting line that featured a horrific 3-4-13 from the field, particularly in the paint, the very area of the floor where she is supposed to be most dangerous, Reese finished with 15 points and 4 rebounds, falling short of her season average. Then Caitlin Clark was discovered by the cameras. In the wake of the victory, she was grinning, as if amused by something. The internet was able to link that expression to the missed shot that came before it in a matter of minutes. The internet doesn't need proof to form an opinion, so whether Clark was genuinely making fun of Reese in particular is practically irrelevant at this time. All you need is a believable story. This one also wrote itself. The symmetry was too striking to overlook, so social media users quickly uncovered the old LSU video of Reese following Clark around the court years earlier while making that now famous gesture with her hand in front of her face. Almost instantly, the expression "chickens coming home to roost" became popular. And in a matter of hours, the smile and the failed layup became one unavoidable narrative. Reese had cultivated a rivalry based on provocation for years, and now the tables had turned in the most visible way possible.
And we start off the game with Angel Reese missing everything from behind the arc, and she does get into a groove as we go on into the game. And by groove, I mean she gets some rebounds. But yeah, we're gonna be real honest about her in this video. Here you see her waiting for the dribble handoff action so she can get it to Alicia, and she drills it. Once again, exceptional performance from her. And not too long after, you see Alicia get it on the other side of the court, drilling this three on that left wing. Like I say, she's gonna hoop today. But we come back the way of Indiana, where Caitlin Clark gets all the way to the cup. Tough layup. You see that strength, bro? Pushing into that defender, not afraid of the...
Beneath all of this is a financial and reputational decision that merits recognition. So this is where the discussion becomes more complex than mere mockery. From a business perspective, it was a really wise decision for her to associate herself with the biggest figure in the sport. Every debate show dispute, every segment centered on the Clark-Reese dynamic, and every thumbnail created by their alleged rivalry resulted in visibility that Reese might not have otherwise had. She profited for years from being close to the league's most popular attraction, which has its own currency. However, visibility cuts both ways. Reese's style of play produces energy and rebounds, both of which are worthwhile in and of themselves. However, it is impossible to hide the difference between the two players when the situation requires someone to just finish a shot at the hoop. This distinction is precisely what caused the internet response to be so intense. Not all of the ridicule was fair, and some of it undoubtedly veered into terrain more related to tribalism amongst fan camps that have been picking on one another for years than it did to basketball.
Glazing is crazy. I'm sure you were tuned in to our favorite reality TV show last night. And by now, you've seen the video of Caitlin Clark laughing at Angel Reese after she missed the game-winning layup against the Fever last night. I'm sure you've also seen this clip of Angel Reese missing a wide-open layup in the first quarter. But what I'm sure you missed was the halftime commentary about Angel Reese's performance in the first half last night. I don't know who her team is paying to get them to gaslight us like this.
However, a significant amount of the criticism was based on tape rather than prejudice and was simply earned. It sprang from the fact that a player who has spent years positioning herself as a co-headliner missed the two most important shots of a game that was broadcast nationally, and the network covering it insisted on referring to her as the story of the weekend regardless of what really transpired on the court. Reese openly discussed the incident in the days that followed, and her remarks made clear how deeply the missed shot affected her personally. However, there's a difference between dealing with a painful loss in private and redefining yourself as a victim of fate at the same time, particularly when the criticism directed at her wasn't actually about a single wasted opportunity. It was about a pattern, about a season's worth of finishing difficulties in the paint, and about a media apparatus that had conveniently ignored the aspect of her game that still hinders her while spending an entire weekend erecting a monument around her rebounding figures.
Angel Reese, haunted by last game. Haunted after blowing the game winner. And then follows that up, getting blocked 6 times. And the referees putting her on the foul line if somebody so as much. They didn't sleep. Last game, it was very tough for me. I didn't sleep. I replay that play so many.
The numbers themselves spoke louder than any harsh pylon when it comes to the response. When the box score was already 3-4-13 inside the paint during the precise sequence that determined the game's outcome, there was no need to fabricate indignation. Reese's strengths are unaffected by any of this, and it would be intellectually dishonest to act otherwise. She continues to be one of the league's top rebounders, reaching milestone rebound totals more quickly than nearly anyone in recent memory. And her physicality and motor skills really influence how other teams must prepare for her. The problem is what happens when the focus shifts to scoring, finishing, and the precise aspects of the game where stardom is usually measured at the highest level. And how awkward that gap becomes when it's right next to someone like Clark, whose offensive gravity can bend entire defenses on her own.
And guess what? Angel Reese couldn't even make a damn layup to win the game. And I'm telling you right now, this is hella funny. Oh my God, this is super funny. This is more funnier than the video of the guy pretending to be Angel Reese. I mean, she literally hit the floor, put her hands over her head. Sorry guys. Hit the floor, put her hands over her head like, oh my God, I messed up. Yeah, you messed up real bad, Angel. Real.
The failed shots themselves aren't what really make this story so captivating. Every night in the league, players miss shots without making headlines around the country. The collision between years of manufactured rivalry, a media environment ready to promote that rivalry regardless of what the tape actually shows, and a player who spent years courting the spotlight only to find that the spotlight doesn't care about backstory once the ball is in the air is what makes it compelling. Reese desired the attention that comes with being paired with the most well-known figure in women's basketball. And early in her career, she embraced confrontation and demonstrated true brilliance on the glass to win that attention. It revealed a player who is exceptional in one area of the game and legitimately weak in another, right next to the only player in the league who can make that difference impossible to overlook.